Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VI. We have 13 party members currently, and we are still not done collecting, believe it or not. Final Fantasy VI's cast is enormous, and we're going after the last one right now. So you fly over to Triangle Island in the World of Ruin, and the only random encounter that you're going to run into is this guy. This slightly more threatening looking slagworm. This is the Zone Eater. He inhales your party one by one. The Zone Eater sounds awesome. Like he just swallows continents whole. And where we're going is maybe even cooler. He has a couple of attacks that he'll try to do. Sometimes he'll use gravity magic on you like Demi and cut your health in half. I see your health? My wisdom is growing out of control. Other times he'll just try to get you to stop attacking him by freezing you. Or he'll freeze me and then spam gravity for no reason. I'm helpless. You could just suck me in. That would be good. Munch, he wants more. So if we have no party members left on the outside in the World of Ruin, that must mean that what we're doing next is we're gonna be adventuring around inside him. This is called the world inside the Zone Eater, which sounds even better than the Zone Eater itself. And we brought Umara along with us today. It's such goofy music too, like I thought this would be horrifying. So first thing, we will run into that guy. He spooks your party leader, and they fall all the way down to the bottom level, which is useful because it's the only way to get this treasure. And then there's that convenient switch that lowers the wall that lets you get right back up. This is a tiny area. It sprawls a lot to the left, but it's not labyrinthian. We've also equipped Terra with the Soul of Themasa we picked up from the Fanatic's Tower last time, giving her access to X magic, which means she gets 2 casts in a row. Inherent double. And like I said, we brought Umara along with us again, because I haven't really shown him off much, and I haven't talked much about him. Even though there's not a ton to him, he doesn't have the depth of a lot of other characters. In fact, he has none in terms of gameplay. And he doesn't even have much backstory, except that he is indebted to Mog, because Mog saved him from starving once. That's why Mog can just run up to him and command him and be like, hey, I'm your boss, you do what I say. He's a set-it-and-forget-it character. The official class is Berserker, so he behaves like he has a permanent Berserk status. He attacks physically on his own. He uses 1 of 4 random attacks. He can be outfitted with relics like the Rage Ring or Gaius gloves are nice for him. But not equipment or espers. But to his credit, because of the inherent Berserk status and some of his high stats, you can make him hit fairly hard. He offers no utility, and you can make other characters hit harder, but I don't know, there's something I like about Umara. We saw him in the caves in our periphery back in the World of Balance, and that may be because he was originally going to be available in the World of Balance. Oh, now we have to play the waiting game, wait for him to go far to the left so we can hop up. Then we'll do exactly what you expect again, down to these 2 chests, and then we'll hop back up and back down to get the other set. This also lets us get around this guy patrolling. I was nervous. They can fake you out. They try to juke a little bit. Oh, there's another one that has a fake mustache in it, that chest. Oh, and a warp puck, and holy shit, a Flexile Sentry. Kinda, no, just Demon Asura? Where was I going with the thought on Umara? Oh, he was, there was originally going to be an encounter for him in the World of Balance, and he was also supposed to be brought into the party kind of like Gao was, where you would fight him somewhere at random on the world map instead of, you know, with Gao, it's just on the belt. But then you'd also have to use an item to bait him towards you and lure him into joining your party. Kind of like how you have to feed some dried meat to Gao to get him in there. Oh, this could be a little iffy if the guy on my level pats over. Oh, that's gonna be much harder getting back. Might be quicker to just take the fall. Yeah. Not quite what I would have liked, but this still might be faster than waiting. So we can just hook back up, go right back to the left. Are there any random encounters you fight on the bridge? That would be kind of shitty, because then you would pop out of a random encounter and have like a second of delay where you can't make a move, or a guard just passed toward you. So I think there are a couple areas of the world inside the Zone Eater that are like that. The next room that we're trying to get to is also going to be like that. But we can get caught right before it. Oh, shambling corpses. At least we got a new enemy type. And with that, I think that's all of the enemy types in the dungeon. There's nothing exciting in here. The area that we're going to be going to, that's kind of like a life leech. I've seen that move before, actually. The zone we're going to next, I'll have a little bit more to talk about in terms of the enemies. Oh, you counterattack with Thundaga, damn. A really weak Thundaga. Like, low magic power, but nonetheless, X magic takes care of it. No dying breath attack. Just quickly make it downstairs. Oh shit, there's one room before it. It's a save room, but it's probably worth tenting up right now, because I did use a lot of MP. That's the thing you have to watch out for with the Soul of the Masa, is you can annihilate enemies, but you will run out of MP very, very quickly. Especially because you're sharing less of the burden of doing damage with your other party members. So we have a Crusher here. This is really annoying because she's stunned from the shockwave for a couple of seconds after it hits the floor. So you have to run to those safe spots. There's one right below this chest with the Hero's Ring. Third Hero's Ring, awesome. This one you have less of a frame of reference for. I hit that corner and then go down a few tiles. That's my, yeah, it's like 1 or 2 steps down you can take. Don't try to look for a safe spot under that chest like the one we got the Hero's Ring from. Just go all the way to the bottom of the screen once you get over here. Pinwheel. We got the weakest boss in Dark Souls. Then we could continue down. We got one more room. It's kind of a puzzle room, but nothing brain-busting about this. We can hop each of these chests. They're little platforms. And first, you want to get over to the switch. That's priority number 1. It extends that bridge so you can get back here quicker. And then also we can do this. We can get to this chest. We see that door is opened up now. Another Thunder Shield's never bad. Thunder Shields just provide so much elemental protection. Complete nullification of 2 different elements. Mitigation of a bunch of others. Fuck, they're good. And at the end of the dungeon, who is this character? Shrouded in odd clothing. Is this a man? A woman? Or should we even ask? It is Gogo. Henshin Gogo. Gogo's a playable mimic. Not the cool chest kind, or not the kind that I want to be in Dark Souls 4 whenever that comes out as a ladder mimic. But he copies your party's abilities and job commands even. So you want him to use Sabin's blitzes? That's an option. Want him to use Gao's rages? That's an option too. You have a lot of flexibility with Gogo. But he is a jack of all trades and a master of absolutely none. Most of his stats are exceptionally poor, so you get the most use out of him as a utility character, if you want to use him at all. I personally do not. Now we get to backtrack through the Crusher room, through the room with the multi-leveled bridges, and we'll get back to the entrance, and we'll make our way out of here. That's pretty much the whole dungeon. We just have one more little extra task to complete to get out. So there was gonna be a side quest to get Gogo where he would randomly move between towns on the world map, disguised as a party member that you didn't currently have in your active party, which sounds really cool. And you would have to confront the disguised Gogo to get him to join you. So on one hand, that sounds awesome. But on the other, I think of how frustrating finding Death Gaze is, and then I think about finding Gogo and how that would be even more random, which is why they never went through with doing things that way. Every goddamn thing in the game inflicts zombie on you. It's also kind of nice that they threw Gogo down here because there would otherwise be no major incentive to come down into the world inside the Zone Eater, or ever encounter him, really. It's such a cool name and idea for a zone, but it's really short, and there's nothing else interesting down here. Now, am I gonna run into this motherfucker again? Yep. Of course, you're just gonna do a little bit of damage to me before I can escape the battle, because you know that I'm not going to sit still long enough to have all four swallowed back into the world inside you. So you're just gonna make me waste resources. Oh, no, okay. Froze Umaro. Let's warp out. I'm sure this works. Yeah, because the music doesn't indicate that it's a boss fight. Are you kidding? I got halfway through the second step. Persistent! Luckily, Umaro keeps getting these really, really quick attacks in, so it's using up the Zone Eater's turn to freeze him as a counter. Thank you, Edgar. Can I get a third? Guess not. We're gonna burn one more tent because, again, we use a lot of MP on Terra. Terra, we're gonna bring her into the upcoming dungeon, but she's gonna be relegated to a bit of a heal bot. Because a lot of the things in the upcoming dungeon, they don't really care for magic. First, we have to find our way back to Figaro Castle. Where did I park that castle? That's right, I left it in the desert just a little bit east of Kolingin. This time we're not bringing Edgar along with us just because there's going to be a lot more really repetitive random encounters, so we're going to get a few of those in so we can see the enemy variety in the upcoming areas. But we're going to replace Edgar with Mog this time because Mog... Oh, not yet. I forgot to take the Holy Lance off of Edgar we got from the dragon in Fanatic's Tower. Mog has roughly the same capabilities as Edgar, the way we had Edgar set up at least. Because Mog can equip lances, Mog can equip the Dragoon Boots, and he can equip the Dragon Horn. And this is also going to be our first chance to see the damage output of the Holy Lance, which can proc an additional bit of holy damage. On top of just being a really good lance. Let's get your Dragoon Boots on and your Dragon Horn. And of course, if we keep running into the same enemies over and over and over again, forcing me to have to do so much editing, we can just throw the Malulu's Charm on Mog. And what are the chances I run into something just crossing the desert? Oh! I guess I used up all the back-to-back encounters, getting back to the airship outside of the Zone Eater. So we want to come down to the cockpit of Figaro Castle, and we want to go back to South Figaro. But on the way, something is going to happen. There's something odd about the stratum. It's as if we bumped into something. If you tell him to continue on, then things will proceed as usual. You'll end up back in South Figaro. But if you stop and explore, you can come down into the basement of Figaro Castle, and you can take this opening into a set of caves, which is going to lead out into a dungeon, where a lot of stuff is going to happen. And look at all this stuff. So we're going to have Mog Jump immediately. Umaro, nice physical attacker. We also brought Cyan along, because Cyan's going to get something real neat. Let's just have Terra throw a physical attack out. Oh, I should have put the ultimate weapon on her, since any damage output she gets is mostly just going to be her attack command. It's still not. Yeah, we're hitting those 9999 jumps now, and he can hit 4 of those in a row if he wants. Perfect. We're starting to see the real beauty of that setup. Imagine that, 40k in one attack. We're gonna get some other good multi-hit relics coming up soon, which is why we brought Cyan along with us. Okay, same thing again. The devil back there, he likes magic the least out of all of them. I think most enemies in the caves and the ones in the dungeon coming up are gonna be fairly magic resistant. The devil, Satan himself, will straight up reflect magic. Now, we have Ultima on Terra, which is defense piercing and unreflectable, but we don't want to trivialize shit that much yet. I think this might be, yeah, Devil and 2 Figaro Lizards. This might be the last random encounter we take, since we're not getting any kind of variety in here. May have seen all the enemies that spawn in the caves, so I could probably safely throw the Malulu's Charm on, and then take it off once we hit the dungeon we're aiming for. Still only 2 leaps. Seems to be most common. You would think it would average out at 3, but meh. Might weight the first 2 more heavily, like in the RNG counter system mechanic thing. Let's throw that Malulu Charm on, grab what's in here, the Death Arrow. Have we gotten Setsu's fixed dice yet? Might be worth going back for. And then once you explore that bottom left half, we can grab the High Ether from that chest, and where we progress from is in this room down here. You see you can pass under that. This chest contains a monster in a box. The monster is, holy shit, Master Tonberry. This is a much tougher version of a standard Tonberry enemy. Very, very high health. He does the standard 8 steps forward butcher knife thing, plus his travelers and his counterattacks. So, ooh, Cyan's looking rough. We can get a few heals off, plus an Ultima. And then let's burn him. Oh wait. Let's make sure Cyan can survive another Traveler if that comes out. This might do it. Okay, I thought Master Tonberry's health was in the upper 20,000s. Either way, you can never, ever be too safe with just going all out on a Tonberry. Yeah, X-Magic Ultima, a Tonberry if you see it. Don't feel bad for it. I think this is the path forward. The stairway down leads you to the dungeon, but we have a couple of these slightly obscured items down here. It's just high potions and magicite and shit. They're nice enough to give you a save point right before you hit the shit hitting the fan moment, which is going to come up here. There's another really good reason that you bring Terra into this dungeon, which, as we can now see, is some sort of castle. A ruined one. This is called the Ancient Castle. You get some extra scenes and dialogue if you have Terra with you, even though so much of the stuff that we encounter up to this point is resistant to magic. It's like a sepia tone filter indicating that this is a scene taking place in the past. But it's a scene that Terra seems to recognize. Thousands of years ago, a war was waged here. Only Odin is here. So that appears to be Odin. Final Fantasy staple. Odin in the flesh, though. A city ruined during the War of the Magi. Ah, there we go. It is a crime they renamed that to Adam Edge from Zantetsuken. And who might that be fighting Odin? Whoever it is, the Zantetsuken did not slice her in half. But she petrified him, preventing him from dying and turning into magicite. Odin, a powerful sorcerer. Okay. There's some cool backstory to this dungeon. There's also this entrance here on the left. And Coco? Yeah, Coco, a samurai, and a Suriander. Using a few lower level spells to conserve. Oh, got imped. Let's see. That's only Umaru who got imped. I don't really mind that much, to be honest. It's not like Umaru can do many things anyway other than attack. With X magic, unless you're fighting a boss or something that you intend to go all out against, use some lower level magic mixed in there just to conserve your MP. It's also nice because it lets you mix defense and offense. You can do some buffing if you want and also squeeze an attack in. Or you can do multiple buffs in a row, or you can get a heal in. It's such a ridiculously useful thing. And again, the only downside to that relic, the Soul of the Masa that gives you X magic, is you can't summon an Esper with a character who has that equipped. The Samurai Soul or the Katana Soul, he will use standard ninja moves, some of which we've seen. The move that he just used comes from the Water Scroll you can purchase for Shadow. He'll also use ones from the Fire and Bolt Scrolls. The strongest thing that he does is he can throw his weapon at you. I think there's a very specific condition for him to do so. But if he does, it's going to hit somebody for like 8,000 damage. At low health, you're going to see that he powers up. I think he puts a bunch of statuses on himself, including haste. He's going to start using stronger attacks. But by the point he does that, he's going to be very near death. Like, he's going to be bloodied as hell. He's also vulnerable to the confused state, which I think is overkill, because he doesn't have that much health. We can fit a non-elemental flare in there. I do not think that it's defense piercing like Ultima is, which is a shame. And of course is vulnerable to reflect, which might be one of the statuses he puts on himself right now. So we want to be careful about that, because I don't want to Ultima my squad. The Fang might do it before the Ultima even comes out, to be honest. No, not quite, but this is going to be it. This should hit for 10k, and he has way, way less than that left by the time he powers up. Confuse will stop him from doing the move where he throws an 8,000 damage sword at you, and that's maybe the only good argument for further neutering that boss. But did you see what we got from him? We got a thing that's gonna make Cyan really powerful. We got the Master Scroll. This allows you to attack up to 4 times in a row at the cost of each physical attack that you do, doing half damage. When you pair that with a Genji Glove, which allows you to equip 2 weapons, each of which gets their own hit in with the attack command, you're looking at 8 attacks in 1 turn. Now, with some proper stat boosting and Cyan in the front row, you can get Cyan hitting absurd damage values, eventually getting up to the damage cap. So it's possible that you can get some 80,000 damage turns in with just Cyan. But we are far, far from that kind of damage, so it's probably only gonna look like a very modest damage boost right now. Also, the Kazakiri we put on him has a random chance to proc an extra hit of wind damage, and you get 4 opportunities per attack to proc that, so that's just icing on the cake. Oh, the armored weapon, we're probably not going to get the best example of Cyan doing way more damage. Because, yeah, its defenses are super high, but there's a Kazakiri proc. So we have 200 damage, 600, 200. We're going to call that 200, even though it was more like 150. 200. Nearly 5, 2. Oh, shit, hell, that's nice. Another 400 damage proc. So like I say, it's only gonna look like a very modest boost right now. It'll look better when we're fighting an enemy who... Oh, reflect. And that's gonna be 2 of them. When we're fighting an enemy that doesn't have such high physical defense. We can also fish for slightly better weapon setup for Cyan, but the main thing is, you want to have, like, Bismarck or somebody with a nice attack boost equipped on Cyan, and then just stat boost that motherfucker. Because he can do real big boy damage. You just have to work on it. It's the same as having to work to get the Dragoon Boots Dragon Horn set up, doing crazy good damage. But once you put that work in, it just breaks everything. There's nothing that survives that. I don't even think any of the final boss's forms have 80,000 HP in any one individual form. Oh, and there's our petrified Odin. We undo the petrification, and we got the Odin Magicite. Odin is now our Esper. Okay, I think it's time to throw the charm on Mog, since all we're running into are mechs. There's gonna be a few more opportunities to get some big damage in with Cyan, though. First, let's come over here to the left. Oh, I guess there's nothing. Oh, just to let you spot the chest we got to from outside the castle. In case you missed that. This does not appear to go anywhere. So the throne room acts as our hub. We can get up here and grab a blizzard orb, and what's this? Oh, a gold hairpin. Again, just useful for betting, really. And this is where we progress. There's a little shimmer in the bookshelf. It's a diary entry, a book, with a gem-encrusted cover, Queen's Diary. I realize now that I'm in love with Odin. This breaks every rule of our society. Prince has fallen in love with an Esper, but my heart longs for this noble, elegant man. How could anyone blame me? After the fighting is over, I'm going to bare my soul to him. Ah, that explains what was going on. Love between a human and an Esper. Now, at this point, I think you're supposed to go back to Figaro Castle, and there's someone, I think in the library maybe, who will dissect that book a little bit further and analyze it for you. And you find out there's a passage about a secret compartment and how to open that up. Okay, I had to just look it up real quick. So you take 5 paces south of... There it is. South of the rightmost throne in the throne room, and then you hit the action button. That opens this secret staircase up from the library we were in. And you spill out into a hallway, there's a chest up here, and yet another legendary dragon. Let's make sure we have access to jump with Mog. Where's that at? Here we go, Dragon Horn. This one is the Blue Dragon, which has a very nice sprite indeed. This one is a water-themed dragon. It's just gonna do some party-wide water-based damage to you. Should be weak to thunder. Its physical defense should not be as high as the mech enemies we were fighting out in the throne room. So Cyan's damage upgrade will show through a little bit better here. Again, he's not gonna be hitting absurdly hard, but shit, man, that's not bad. Between 1,000 damage and 500 hit 8 times, plus you get the Kazakiri procs. That's not terrible. I don't know if I'm going to be boosting Cyan up. Cyan does tend to trivialize things even more than some of the abilities we've already gotten, like all the jumping shenanigans, X-Magic, the fact that we're going to learn the quick spell really soon. Speaking of which, Odin. This is gonna be bad for him. Yeah, oh, there we go. 7,500 damage Thundagas. Again, another legendary dragon down. Odin. When you summon him, he instant kills everything that isn't protected from instant death. He teaches you Meteor, and he does something entirely unique. He can boost a character's speed stat on level up. No other Esper in the game does that. Unless you're playing the GBA version, in which case Cactar is the only one. But when you interact with the petrified princess of the ancient castle, the Odin Magicite gets a permanent upgrade and becomes Raiden. You can never go back to Odin, so it means you never get the speed boost on level up effect back. But we're going for the mightiest collection we can get. Raiden can teach you the quick spell, which is busted. And you get a strength bonus on level up with them. But I think that is it. So we're done with the ancient castle, and we can start heading towards the endgame. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.